And it is congratulations to Fulham. We had 3 dearly departed teams looking for their first win going into this game week. And it's Fulham who have got the win ahead of Sheffield United and West Brom. And it was West Brom that they defeated last night down at Craven Cottage 2-0. Now, Scott Parker gets a lot of criticism. An awful lot of criticism, actually. Some justified, some not. Over his tenure, Fulham have, in the main, given off the air of being slightly unconvincing and a project that wanted to get to there and is kind of there and edging towards it. Maybe bailed out a little bit in the Championship, often by Mitrovic. But we need to give him some credit now. Really terrible start to the season for Fulham. Some heavy defeats and some embarrassment on the TV. But they've got gradually more competitive. Parker has now identified a back four that he seems to be sticking with, and they've got their first win. So I'm not saying that another 10 wins are going to come, but I'm saying that in the interest of balance, Parker has been criticised and should be praised today. That back five that he's come up with, remember last year, this was Ruddock, Adoy, Hector, Reeve and Brian, completely changed. Areola in goal, Robinson, Adarabio, Anderson, I believe that's his debut, and Iain are the back five or back four and goalkeeper, and he's sticking with them, and they've now got a clean sheet and some sense of improvement. He's tried a 3 at the back. He's now in a 4-2-3-1. Lamina and Anguissa. So a bit more protection in the system as well. With Kearney, he's recruited quite well in terms of Lookman coming in. And Reed off to the right there. And Mitrovic plays up top. So Scott Parker now has come up with a winning team. Will it keep winning? I don't know. But he needs some credit for doing that this particular game week. West Brom stick with what they did down at Brighton. I think that is an unchanged team. Johnston in goal, Furlong, Ivanovic, Ajayi, Townsend. Oh, excuse me. There's one little tweak because there you can see Kravinovic is going to play in front of the back four with Livermore up with Gallagher. That's just a little tweak where instead of having your destroyer in the space, you've got a ball player, which I like. I think if you're a neutral watching a game, what would you rather have? Jake Livermore there to stop or Kravinovic there to play make? Well, let me know when we're judging a couple of the goals whether Livermore might have been more of a shield than Kravinovic. But, you know, what you give with one hand, you take away with the other. Pereira and Dean Garner wide with Grant up front. I said repeatedly in the Brighton game, the success of West Brom this season depends on those 3 players to get goals, doesn't it? Brilliant in the Championship last season. Grant for Huddersfield as well, but Pereira and Dean Garner. What it depends on, though, and I had an interesting comment from a West Brom fan. Oh, Ben, we play 4-3-3, not 4-1-4-1. Use whatever terminology you're comfortable with. However, what I will say is, if Dean Garner and Pereira are way back and way wide and Grant is isolated, call it a 4-3-3 if you want. Call it a 4-2-3-1 if Gallagher moves forward a little bit. Call it what you like. If your best players are all in a big triangle, way apart and out near the touchline, it's going to be less productive than if they're a bit narrower, a bit closer together. So that is all I would say in terms of the... it's not semantics with numbers, is it? But the debate as to what you're going to call a formation there. Here is the opening goal. Anguissa, who I was impressed with last night, receives that quite deep. And yes, can we ask the question, would they be better screened with Livermore than Kravinovic? Because Anguissa, give and go with Kearney, plays it out wide. Look how he manages to drive and get up the pitch. Nice cross by Robinson. Brilliant from Mitrovic. He is on the far post. He doesn't do a difficult header to goal. And look, on the jump, cushions that to Bobby Reed on the back post, who headers in. It's a nice goal from Fulham's point of view. Anguissa does well from West Brom's point of view. I believe it was from their restart from a goal kick. Anguissa travels a long way, and perhaps I'm putting 2 and 2 together and making 100, but perhaps when you do switch a creative player into that holding defensive midfield position as opposed to a stopper like Livermore, that's what you sacrifice, and maybe the screening could have been a bit better there. I could be wrong. The second goal, though, and speaking of I could be wrong, I saw Iain, I think it was his first game of the season, playing the League Cup against Brentford, and I didn't think he played well at all, but Parker has stuck with him, and I have to doff my cap for a brilliant goal. Check out my reaction on the watch-along as well. A few people had a good laugh at that. Here's Iain down the right wing, plays it into Reed, who then plays it to Mitrovic, who lays it off beautifully, actually, into the path of Iain. And Mitrovic showing a different side to his game there. And look, Iain is going to drive that ball, from the edge of the box with his left foot into the top corner. Brilliant goal by Fulham. Brilliant goal by Iain. West Brom absolutely punished there. Bit of quality. And Carlin Grant could have done with a bit of quality here. Given away by, it's a combination of Areola playing out to Anguissa. But Grant gets clear. He could carry that a bit closer. He hits the shot left-footed. And look how close that is. But it doesn't matter, does it? Because he did not score. In the second half, I would suggest Fulham did a decent job of keeping West Brom at bay. We saw the substitution that Bilic used in the Brighton game, where Robinson comes in and Pereira can get a bit more central. Didn't work, and could have been a penalty at the end there. I've got to say, and I've put the laws up, and I wish VAR would actually do this when they make the decisions, because I think, again, I've said before, obsessed football fans just don't accept decisions against them. But those of us that are actually reasonable-minded about this will read that, and you can see at the top there, these are the mitigations for a handball. If the hand arm is close to the body and does not make the body unusually bigger. Ajayi, yes, it does hit his right elbow. It's close to his body. And I suppose the argument there, obviously the wording seems to intimate that that shouldn't be a penalty. And the argument is, if his arm was not there, it's still going to possibly hit his torso behind. So no penalty for Fulham there. They're still going to win the game anyway. And I think the VAR's probably got that one right. There are your numbers. 55% possession to West Brom, but 6 shots to 1 on target in Fulham's favour. Decent. 2 big chances to 0. It's a good win for Fulham, isn't it? They took their chances very well. At their worst last season, Fulham were very ponderous and slow in possession, but look at their 2 goals here. Very quick and decisive, with Anguissa driving, Robinson crossing first time, Mitrovic header back across and Reed scoring, and then Iain just right back, boom, boom, slams it in the top corner. Okay, you're not going to score that second goal very often, but the first one, that's sustainable, isn't it? And Mitrovic showing some good intelligence on both goals to pick up the 2 assists. Nice to see that side of his game coming out if you're a Fulham fan. So well done, Fulham. I tip my cap to Scott Parker. He's tweaked and tried and trialled and got a win and stuck with his back 4. Of course, I'm not saying this is now going to facilitate a run of, 1.5 points per game and 15 over the next 10 for Fulham. I don't know. It might. It's a fellow ex-championship side they've beaten, so it's going to get harder. But he gets a lot of criticism and credit's where it's due. The team was set up well. The game management were good. They were very efficient with their chances and they won the game. So what more can you do? Does it predict they'll stay up from relegation? No, but it predicts that the line is moving in that way rather than that way, as it had been quite decisively for the opening weeks of the season. For West Brom, yes, you can hold up the mitigating factor that West Brom kind of played into Fulham's hands, certainly for the first goal, and the second goal was a worldie. So on another day, maybe those goals are not going to happen. But they did. And the worrying thing, I think, from West Brom, and I mentioned this again, and I'll continue to mention it, is if you're going to set your team up in such a way that negates Diangana and Pereira, what's the point? Do you know what I mean? They are your danger. And even something like, I remember Blackburn doing this, where they played a 4-4-1-1. And the whole idea was be solid and get Bradley Dack free with Danny Graham up front. That was what they did. And my argument here is, if you're going to be solid, and in being solid, you lose the benefit of those star players, then just play a 4-4-1-1 and have two banks of four, stick Pereira behind Grant, and just try and get him on the ball and be solid. Otherwise, you're essentially losing your three key attacking players out of the team. I'd be interested to know what West Brom fans would think, because they did seem to be getting more competitive. Ivanovic had played his way in, and things looking stable. Gallagher was being used. Sawyers came back in last night. So, yeah, I'm a bit deflated from a West Brom point of view, because I thought things were going better, and they've had the defeat last night. And I think Bilic really needs to look at particularly Pereira. I know Dejan Garner's a very good player as well, but Pereira, just whenever he gets central, he's just such a good player and such a dangerous player. Just feels a bit wasted currently in that setup. Let me know what you think. Some work to do for West Brom, but well done, Fulham. Congratulations for the victory. And of course, immediately after 7 games, stop the clocks now. Okay, Burnley might have a game in hand, but stop the clocks now, factually, and Fulham survive, despite having not registered a win for the first 6 game weeks. It shows you down the bottom there, wins are absolute gold dust. And maybe Fulham, Sheffield United drew, didn't they? West Brom, Burnley drew. Really does not help. You've got to get victories in those games. That's what Fulham did here. Fulham 2, West Bromwich Albion 0. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button to see more videos from this channel. Hit the subscribe button, and to be notified every time we upload, ring the bell for those notifications to come through on your device. If you really want to support the channel and me as a content creator, I will be eternally grateful if you head over to the merch store and grab something, or support over on Patreon, patreon.com/Benjamin Bloom. Thank you for your time. Go and watch another video.